part is to try and find your x-intercepts. Okay, so you're going to then identify, okay, what does it mean by the phrase or the term x-intercepts? So x-intercepts is, there's a plural. So that means it's going to be where the curve or the parabola is going to intercept the x-axis. Okay, so in this scenario, so it's going to be essentially like this, essentially, and you're going to have, this is not what the curve looks like, but it's a general sketch of a parabola. And that's an x-intercept, that's one, and that's another x-intercept. And basically, in this question, you're going to try and identify that. And the way we've been doing that this whole time is through factorization. So as you can see there, that's an expanded form. The way you factorize, and the way we've been doing this, is to find out your x-intercepts. What do we know? We know at that particular point, y is always equal to 0. So now you're going to make y is equal to 0. So you've got x squared plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. Great. That's a great step. The next part is then you're going to factorize. So how do you factorize this? You're going to find out two values that add to give you that, and two values that multiply to give you that. So what are two factors of 6 that multiply to give you that? It's going to be 2 and 3. So that's a positive 2 and a positive 3. Great. Let's check if when you add these two together, do they give you the middle value? Yeah, they do. So now you're left with x plus 2, x plus 3 is equal to 0. Now, essentially, your x-intercept is the opposite. So the way I'm going to explain this to you, this the other way, but I'm going to explain to you is that to find out your x-intercept, it's essentially the opposite. So this is a plus 2. That means your opposite is going to be minus 2. This x value is going to also be negative 3. So the opposite of plus 3 is minus 3. There is a null factor theorem, but just to explain this in brief, it's generally the opposite. So you've got here minus 2 and minus 3. And those are your two intercepts. So you've got x is equal to minus 2, x is equal to minus 3. And to write that as a coordinate, it's minus 2, 0, minus 3, 0. If you just gave it as x is equal to negative 2 and x is equal to negative 3, you won't get the full marks, as the question says, find the coordinates. And that's how you write it as a coordinate. You know the value of y is 0 when there's an x-intercept. You know the other x-intercept, the value of y is also equal to 0. So that's about it. To summarize, to find out your x-intercepts, you have to understand what does it mean by the x-intercept. X-intercept is where the parabola crosses the x-axis, and always at that particular point, and that particular point, the value of y is always equal to 0. So you're going to make y is equal to 0, which is this one. Then the second part is you're going to factorize. Okay, so you're going to factorize, and then you're left with two brackets. And then one x value is going to be equal to negative 2. The other one's also equal to negative 3. And those are your x-intercepts. Then you have to write the coordinates. Okay, so this is altogether going to be worth 3 marks.